Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Made daily with organic, farm to table, localized, neuralized, sterilized, Scotch guarded for 2020 repellent, available online, shipped via Amazon, not available on Sundays, Broken Pencil Logic. You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
Man, oh boy.
That was perfect. I love it. Everything you did right there was right in pocket.
What to do?
You've done fine work. Just stay the course.
We're not on time, but always in time.
This part.
Last week, life.
Last week.
last week, life lifed us. So the last week episode is now this episode you're hearing here now. Today's date is Thursday, November the 14th. Year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
I said, year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
20 and 20. 4 for 4.
Would you like fries with that, sir?
Sweet potato fries, please.
Dipping sauce for your nuggets, pause.
Dipping sauce for my nuggets.
Pause.
Dipping sauce for your nuggets.
Pause.
Pause.
So low.
Yeah, I need something like some Korean barbecue, like something with like a little Szechuan feel to it with like some soy.
Okay, I can pick up what you're putting down.
Like a little home marinade of like an amalgamation of 2 or 3 5 sauces, like tangy but sweet, but like savory but not really.
There's a Japanese barbecue sauce that I should turn you on to. Yes, there you go.
I'm with that. Let me have that right there. Let the church say,
"Hey, man."
I know what the Pencil Pusher Massive think we're going to talk about today, since we missed all last week. The competition of all competitions has not happened yet. In fact, it takes place tomorrow, Friday, November the 15th. Year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
I said year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
2024 for 4.
Yeah, we fries in the back.
Yeah, all right, yeah. WWE Hall of Famer Iron Mike Tyson taking on Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying?
Right. First of all, happy birthday shout out to Dog Wonder.
Dog Wonder, happy birthday, my guy. The jokes are on you, literally.
Man, hey, style my fam out. Style the homie out. I sent him this clip of Tyson because I didn't see the actual press conference. Like Mike did a live workout and an interview afterwards. There's a clip in the interview where he says, "To my kids, I'm a nobody. But that night, I'm going to show them that their father's real special." Bruh, when you see the look in his eyes when he said that, I said, oh my God. He might actually fight this man. Because that's been the whole time. We know this is a massive payday. Netflix is involved. One of the Paul brothers is involved. It's a spectacle. Everybody involved is getting paid.
Price just went up.
I've seen the prices for what it costs to go to that fight. Everybody's getting paid. But
you're like outside from the venue and not going to the fight.
Oh no. Before the first time they postponed the fight, I saw what they were charging. I was like, because I've never seen Tyson fight live. So I was like, okay, bucket list.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I saw what they were charging, and these were not even ringside seats. These weren't lower level. And I'm like, no, under no circumstances. And I get reckless from time. You know me, like I will get reckless when it comes to going to see a live event that I want to see. I don't care anything about.
We are literally planning recklessness right now.
And I'm the one who's usually willing to go into triple D. And I saw this and I was like, nah, this ain't it, bro. Because then I know there are different forces in play. If this was just a regular Tyson fight, I could sit there knowing I'm going to see greatness. undiluted. With this, I always figured there was something in play that would be an easy out. There would be an out to where either Tyson wouldn't take an L or it would just be an exhibition.
Like headgear, 4 rounds.
And after that first time they postponed it, they started pulling away those things. They took away headgear. You can go for the KO. It's 8 rounds. This is going to count towards professional record. And when they said count towards professional record,
that one right there,
there is no way Tyson is finna go take an L. I'm sorry, like Mike will do some things. Now people are not giving Mike enough credit for his business acumen post everything else. That man survived Don King, and that's a documentary by itself.
That man, they said he was spending. I want to get the numbers right. I think he said $45,000 per day, every day for 10 years.
Who, Don King or Tyson?
That's how much money was being lost out of Tyson's account while under Don King.
You see what I'm saying?
So who spent the money? Don't know.
Oh, we know. We know who spent it. Now, what they spent it on, that might be a harder list to itemize. However, once I heard all that, I was like, okay, what they're doing, even if the fight is a total sham at the end of the day, they have removed enough buffers to make me pay attention to see what goes on. And I'm like, man, Tyson training. So he doing his part. He making this look good. So Mike training. You know what I'm saying?
Mike keep training. Shout out
the freeway. And I'm like, hey, if he gonna take this serious, what's supposed to happen? Because I don't see the guy who put this fight together taking an L, like actually training to fight Tyson for real. There had to have been a conversation before this, like, hey, Mike, let's get some money. We'll find a way to come to it. You know, it'll be a draw or, whatever the case may be.
So I've said this before. I don't recall if I've ever said this on the show.
Okay.
I don't even recall having this conversation with you, but I know I've had this conversation. But if I haven't had it on the show, great. It's good stuff. If I have, it's a great reminder.
Great.
I don't have a lot of regard for Jake Paul.
Who does?
What I do love about this man is the fact that he took his fandom and his fame and turned it into an opportunity for dozens, if not hundreds of people.
The hustle, I can absolutely commend.
And
that's for both of them. That's Logan and
Jake. Yes, absolutely.
Commend the hustle. I see it. I see it and commend it. And the means by which you exercise it, different.
Yeah. So, and I'll say this too, with Logan, with Prime Energy.
Hustle.
Not only is it a hustle, because of his name and his brand recognition, the fastest growing energy drink in history.
That no one wants to read the label for.
And I bought one. I had a situation recently where I needed some very fast rehydration before something catastrophic happened. The first thing I could find that wasn't water was this. And the one thing that I didn't care about was the levels of caffeine in it. Now, will I go out and buy another one? Probably not. Probably the last one I'll ever have. Not for me. Is it for somebody? Yeah, there's some people out here who would drink this stuff. I'm not going to talk about how good or bad of a person they are mentally, but just understand that there is a place for Prime in this industry. Just like, in the cigar world, there's room for everybody. Just figure out who your niche is and then go after that person. If you don't have anybody to go after, just set it there. Somebody will gravitate towards it. Being on WWE TV over the last 5 years has helped propel this man to the point to where he is on the branding front. And that's on Logan Paul. As for Jake Paul, this what's the name? What's the name of his most valuable promotions? Is that it? MVP?
You're asking the wrong guy.
I believe his promotions company's most valuable promotions. The reason why I even care is the fact that I said this before he lost to Tyson Fury's brother. The minute Jake Paul, the minute he loses that big one, it's like the great white hype, just like the movie. You took somebody who was out of retirement, old, bald-headed, slower than before, fat, out of shape, and put him up in the ring against a manufactured marvel. And you set him up to get knocked out relatively early. Don't go the distance. It's not even a competition. No one remembers you. What happens to those trainers? The same ones who, they're not the same ones because all of them left, but when he lost to Tyson Fury's brother, this whole training staff walked away from him, never to return. What happens to the trainers? What happens to the medical staff? What happens to the cook? What happens to the videographers? What happens to the social media managers?
They find new fighters. Now, I will say, until you start moving into the in-house product, like once you get to cooks and social media and videographers, those people will probably remain the same. The people that walked away after he lost were like, okay, the ride is over. So either they mutually parted ways or they were let go, whatever the case may be. You knew that was a ride that had an end.
Yes.
You didn't think you were going to parlay this for the rest of your life. This wasn't going to be a 20-year run.
Yeah, okay.
So hopefully you planned accordingly. Like, for him to have made it as far as he has, you really feel like you really been stealing money for a little bit. And, I mean, you had to see that coming. Like, some things, nothing lasts forever.
Nothing lasts forever.
Nothing lasts forever.
But we definitely will be talking about, and I think I can go without saying this for you, but I will say this anyway, speaking on your behalf. We at the Broken Pistol Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast are here by standing by and co-signing for Iron Mike Tyson to beat the brakes off of one Jake Paul.
Yeah, one way or the other. I hope Mike gets whatever mandated medication he has for 2 straight days before this fight.
And leave Mike's weed farm out of this.
Yeah, I don't even want him to smoke. I want him to use everything as a reward.
There you go.
Go out and maim this man. Maim this man.
Not maim.
Yes, maim. I want this man mauled, maimed, and maligned. 3M. That means go out and shine.
Oh boy.
I want this man filed under Section 13. I want him out the picture. Go get him, Mike. And when Mike said that, and you see the look in his eyes when he said it, either Mike deserves an Oscar, or Mike finna cause a whole catastrophe on live streaming television.
And I can't wait for it. A lot of people are hearkening back to the fight he had with Roy Jones Jr. Shouts out to Nee Taylor. Shouts out to Chuck Creekmer of allhiphop.com, who's actually covering the fight right now in Arlington. How dangerous did Mike look against Roy Jones during the pandemic? What about what Roy Jones said about receiving a punch to the chest from Mike Tyson?
Mm-hmm. and that's underworked Mike, because both of them came in heavy. It's pandemic. It's like, they did this as a form of entertainment to get a bag. And Mike
he admitted he was scared then. Imagine Mike now, 2024, the Mike that will you up.
Mike that's been working. and Mike been working and getting back into shape to blank you up. Mike got that smoke with him. You hear me?
It's about to be ugly, and I'm here for it.
My kids on my.
All right, so
nobody, but I'm gonna find out their father's real special.
So we got the emotional stuff out the way. Thank goodness. You know what I'm saying? We we'll figure it out on next episode. We'll figure out who won. Next week we have the who ain't gonna win for Full Gear. Possibly we'll figure it out too. Let's run down some things real quick and get up out of here. So we keeping people here for a long time, but here for a good time.
Straight like that. You
see what I got down here. You read it. You know what it is. We open for business. Business is back, but not in business. They're syndicated now. The Hurt Syndicate has arrived officially. Wait, that wasn't a joke. Officially in AEW. MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley.
Get this money.
And there's two ways you get money in wrestling. Either you become the product or you put somebody over on the product.
Okay.
I don't know how Swerve is going to go over on Bobby Lashley. But what I can tell you is, in the immortal words of the great sports writer and commentator Ron Murray,
price just went up
for everybody. Do we get an alignment from Swerve, or do we get a new member of the Hurt Syndicate arriving into AEW prior to, during, or after Full Gear?
I'm gonna lead house money on you get a new member of the Syndicate before you get any help for Swerve.
Wow, who? I almost want to do an EP, because I like the tease of Ricochet, especially with him now going into Wrestle Kingdom to fight for the IWGP World Heavyweight title.
Fam, Rico is not the greatest communicator.
All the more reason.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm greenlighting this. Is like, this makes sense. It was supposed to happen back then, but now it's like, look, we know where Ricochet's weaknesses are. We know what his strengths are. As far as the Hurt Syndicate, we know what their strengths are. Don't see a lot of weaknesses other than the one that you can't do anything about. So, Rico might need to go ahead and get his act together. Put his show in the syndication.
Let's see, Platinum Max Caster. I don't think we've seen the Acclaimed in the last couple of weeks. I haven't watched Collision lately, so I can't answer that one way or the other. But we definitely haven't seen him on Dynamite. But there's a little bit of friction between Max Caster and Anthony Bowens right now. Do you think Max Caster is a fit for the Hurt Syndicate?
If you're ready to do a complete 180 on what he is now, maybe. I wouldn't. It's gonna feel from the very beginning like he is cosplaying a member of the group because of everything you've always known him to be, everything he's been able to get over for. Like, you're gonna completely abandon that, which is cool because you can always go back to it if he turns again. But some things don't seem as authentic in nature.
Which brings me to my next point. Knowing the pedigree of MVP, and it's not that MVP is racist, more so than he is a champion for his own people. Do we see MVP break the mold and bring somebody from outside into the Hurt Syndicate?
I believe he's always said he was open to that idea. He's not one of those people that feels like the group has to be all one way or all one nationality. He doesn't necessarily feel like they only have to work with one type of talent. So I can see it. Now, if you're asking me who do I see on this roster,
I see no one on this roster.
That's the whole point. Like, the best choices all fit the description.
I got one person off the top of my head, based on your answer, based on your reply. I have one person off the top of my head I would love to see syndicated.
Who?
Shinsuke Nakamura. He's a man, world traveled, world champion, needs a mouthpiece, and can speak, let his actions speak louder than his words. And MVP, and I think MVP respects that man.
He also still has a working arrangement in a different place.
So we think. We don't really know because he hasn't been seen in almost a year.
I mean, what are, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do in that particular situation. Like,
it's a wait and see type of thing, and I'm sure we won't see or hear anything till at the earliest January.
Right. But, so I wouldn't even put him on an early list. That's like that's a if. Like, oh, that's like saying, okay, it would be cool if they added Kevin Owens. He fits. He likes to beat people up. And
as of right now, he's still gainfully employed, whether they chose to or choose to re-sign him or not.
Kevin got a whole nother situation going on. Now, somebody who's actually at work at that particular facility, Will Hobbs needs to go on that list of potential candidates.
You hear the emphaticness in that statement.
You feel me? Like, if there's somebody who absolutely has earned and deserves an opportunity to have some direction from some people who know how to get him where he needs to go, that man, Will Hobbs, needs to be in the Hurt Syndicate.
And he actually had a decent storyline with this book of Hobbs that was going somewhere, and then all of a sudden he gets hurt and it's gone.
Which is why you need MVP, someone who will not allow things like that to take place.
His storyline with Wardlow also was going places. The problem was they didn't know what to do with either one of them.
Where is Wardlow now?
Milk carton.
Can we please put Wardlow back with Max? Like, that's where the money was at. Yeah, like,
stop the BS. You know, figure out who you want to put the belt on. Leave them both together, or however you do it.
And I tell you exactly how to explain it. Wardlow just says, you know what? I tried it everybody else's way. Nobody had an answer. And the only person who's ever had an answer for me and put money in my pocket and kept me on TV at the same time was Max. End of discussion.
And I want to continue to power bomb everybody who comes through here 5 times before I pin them, and then you may just want to ring the bell.
5 times.
Wait for it.
5 times.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. Full Gear. Last episode, I made mention of how AEW ran out with me on the last pay-per-view. Do we even care? And let me back up too. Swab, I really hate that you're this way, and I hate that I'm this way. I'm the elder of the two in this crew. I am also the child of the bunch. Swab is always the one that's slapping my hand, telling me what not to do, and admonishing me for things that I have done.
It
has happened again.
I don't want to be the adult. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to be the adult. Sometimes I want to be irresponsible.
I tried to be irresponsible. I tried to offer the option to bootleg AEW pay-per-views for the rest of the year, but since we are gainfully employed adults and also have a podcast that's being paid for by Serwin Vega Pro Audio. Serwin Vega Pro Audio is where it's at. SerwinVega.com. Shouts out to Gary. Shouts out to Henry. That is your plug for this week. Bruh. Why do I have to? All I wanted to do was wait until AEW on Max. Why do I have to wait? I'm sorry. Why can't I wait? Why do we have to make a deal so us to continue to keep pumping money into Tony Khan's pockets that he needs more after what we had to deal with on this last pay-per-view?
Because these are tax deductible, and we need as many write-offs as we can get.
You're not.
That's my only justification.
You're not telling a lie.
I try not to, as everybody can see. Like, hey, I don't lie and I'm responsible. That's a reason to give me money.
I mean, sure, bootlegging is illegal. I mean, we're to a point to where we don't need to do illegal things in our adult age.
from our experiences in a different industry, we realize what bootlegging can mean for other people and their job security and things like that. So we do things in good faith. Karma, is, if you will.
And Nino Brown's paraphrasing, I don't know you, but I know a lot of you that are out here doing the same thing on every show, and y'all got money too. If I'm going down, y'all going down with me.
Also, I do feel this way, where very similar to other situations that go on in the United States of America, if you don't actively participate with real skin in the game, I feel like that's where you lose your ability to
negotiate.
Yes, negotiate. You also lose your ability to criticize. Like, you didn't spend any money. You spent time where you were supposed to spend money, and you bootlegged something. You watched it for free, and then you were disappointed in it. Well, you stole it to begin with. So fair
Turn fair play.
Fair play, fair exchange, no robbery, things like that. We've spent our dollars on all of these events, so we're going to say exactly what we want, when we want to, write this stuff off, and if anybody wants to sit down and have a conversation about it, we got receipts.
Show at brokenpencilbc.com, brokenpencilbc@gmail.com. It's at brokenpencilbc on all things social, at brokenpencilbc on what?
Everything.
And these receipts are in the form of screenshots, which is just as legal as the paper these days. So you got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like that right there, that's how we know, like, we gonna say what we want to about these shows and don't care who feels any kind of way. Our critique is as a paying customer.
And the way that you show your disdain for something, for a product, is that you walk away from the product.
True.
If you don't like something, if you don't like the way something is that you're paying for or that you're watching, either you don't go to it or you just don't even turn it on.
You're absolutely
which
correct.
Which is why Suave does not watch NXT anymore. That's it.
I use my voice and my platform. That you're exactly right. That's why I don't watch NXT anymore. Perfect. Fantastic. Way to connect. That's it right there, buddy.
We have going back to AEW All In and All Out. We were thinking, based on scuttlebutt on the internet, that we're actually going to see Zilla Fatu make an appearance or make a debut with AEW. Didn't happen. There's still no evidence one way or the other that he's signed with AEW or WWE for that matter. But there has been a scuttlebutt of Hikuleo, brother of Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, signing with WWE, and now most recently Lance Anoa'i.
With photo confirmation on Lance.
With photo confirmation on Lance, who will be reporting to NXT. As it relates to War Games.
Okay.
War Games has been challenged by Solo Sikoa this past Friday on SmackDown as a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match. Shouts out to us for calling that and bringing that back. Because I've definitely been championing that cause, and I think you did too on more than one occasion. You go back and forth, but we have definitely championed the cause of a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series style matchup.
For War Games, not as much. Like War Games, I was raised on Jim Crockett Promotions and WCW War Games, so they could be 4-on-4, 5-on-5.
But you got to put the roof on it.
yeah. If the cage got a roof, then it's real. If the cage ain't got no roof, then it's just
a cage.
I'm up for either 4-on-4 or 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination style tag matches. This is what I am championing. This is what needs to be brought back. Now, will they do it? Probably not. But that's the Survivor Series I was born and raised with. That's the one I'll vote for in a runoff.
Yeah.
That's just where we are. Now, War Games in this particular situation, I'm assuming adding 5 members is a way to build drama. But what I am absolutely 100% against, and let me say this early and often, the continued gentrification of the Bloodline storyline. Sammy's grandfathered in because he's already been in and out of the story, even though he left as a culture vulture. And really, truthfully, by my eyes and the way I view things, does not deserve to be back in. Cool. They worked it out storyline wise. Sammy was basically sinking, and he was out to sea. Sinking.
Yeah, he was floundering, literally.
He had done everything he was going to be able to do, and you're not going to make him world champion. Basically, he's done everything you can do other than be a world champion, and you're not going to pull the trigger on that. So since you're not, back to the
this is what you get, because you're not beating Cody and you're not beating Walter in our house.
And to be perfectly honest, it would have been cool. Let him win the Royal Rumble and then beat Walter. That would have been it. That's his crowning achievement. And then after that, there's nothing else for him to do.
How do you feel about we're talking Royal Rumbleness, because we're going to be talking a lot more of that here in the coming weeks.
Okay. How
do you feel about the winner of the Royal Rumble choosing who they want? And so basically, the first thing they do is tell you what night of WrestleMania they're challenging, and then they choose who they want the week of WrestleMania. How do you feel about that, or even the night of the match?
The night of the match, I think because it's WrestleMania, it doesn't give you an opportunity to sell the main event.
You're not only are you right about that, but WrestleMania has sold itself since the pandemic, especially with it being a 2-night affair. Really, since Arlington.
It has, and since the pandemic, yes, WrestleMania to a degree does sell itself. However, we have this conversation all the time. There's the hardcore wrestling fan, there's the crate diggers, there's the people like us who are going to watch WrestleMania no matter what.
And then there are the casual fans.
And the casual fans make up part of what is going to end up being the segment of sponsors. So you're trying to also sell sponsorships. So unless your other matches, like, okay, in this instance, if WrestleMania 41, the headline was Rock versus Roman, cool. You can sell all the sponsorships in the world off that match by itself, and then you can kind of play around with the rest of the card, kind of like what WrestleMania 41 almost, or what WrestleMania 40 almost became. You had enough star power that you could play with the rest of the card because you had Roman involved and you thought you had The Rock too.
Mm-hmm.
Same issue here. Now, waiting till the night of, I think that's a little too far. I don't think we there yet. We're not flying that fast and loose with planning. I do think you can throw some curveballs and different wrinkles to make the choices a little more exciting. I don't think we're at some 30 minutes before match time I done chose my opponent.
Right.
We not.
But I mean, but at least like not 30 minutes, like 30 minutes before showtime. I mean, actually, you would have like the whole show, 4 hours, whatever the case may be. And I'm not saying that that's even a viable situation right now, unless you kind of play that into the not to put too much on them. Suave. Pause. But Cody will be a perfect candidate to do this if he were in the chase.
It's essentially what Cody did last year. Like, you gave him an opportunity to choose. You drew it out for a while.
Kind of why I chose him is the fact that he's the loudest person in the room, but he also packs the biggest punch financially.
I think you have to do that. To do that and do it successfully, I think you have to plan that so far ahead to where, okay, peep this. Remember there was supposed to be this huge bidding war on a certain superstar that was supposed to happen like now?
Yep.
Didn't, because they re-signed?
Yep.
Imagine MJF didn't re-sign.
Sure, boy, I can't. It's too good. It's too good. And what we're getting is mediocre. It's too good for us to think about. Continue though.
But boom, just because he's the easiest to do this with. Imagine MJF didn't re-sign, but he did sign with WWE, but there's no formal announcement. There's no nothing. He's just basically sitting at the crib and they're letting him not work indies, but he's doing like autograph signings and trade shows like he's doing now with AEW. He shows up. His debut is at the Royal Rumble. wins the Royal Rumble, doesn't even show up to the next night of TV.
In true Max fashion.
Right. And then he doesn't show up on SmackDown either. Then the next week he's up in the box suite. Won't talk to anybody, won't say anything. He's just there.
In Burberry.
Leave. Yeah, watches, leaves. Does this for a couple weeks. He can drag this out. And then show up the night of and say, "Oh, I'm here for my match now." Play it like the dude don't even have a contract. Like, I won the Royal Rumble. I signed a one-off. I signed a work for hire. Like, whatever it is they do for talent that do dark matches, say I signed one of those.
Can you imagine his talk track doing that on Netflix, considering what his last few promos have been like? So, like, really his last promo since May of last year.
Do you see where I'm going with this? And have him make his decision. Now, you could probably get away with somebody like that. It has to be a chaotic situation. It has to be NWO-esque. There has to be an air of absolute danger around this person and what they're going to do. Like, Max would be like, okay, well, if I don't get my title match, then I'll sue this entire company for XYZ. Now, I know TKO doesn't want to be involved in another legal scandal. Ooh. You get a couple reactions off that part of the promo. And you have to put an air of reality within this, but you also gotta play it a little bit like it's chaos.
So who do you think right now, if anybody, the answer can't be nobody, who do you think right now has the biggest propensity to do some dangerousness like you're talking about with the live microphone in WWE? Because in AEW really won't matter. It's the tree that falls in the forest and no one's around. Not to say people aren't hearing it, they just won't care as much.
Braun Breaker.
But he's under contract.
He's under contract, but he's got strings that can be pulled. What if all of a sudden he shows up, his uncle's there? He shows up with his uncle and his dad.
You see, numbers don't lie.
You see what I'm saying? Like, there are some different strings you can pull that gives an air of unpredictability to this guy.
And with the current climate, Rick probably would be a welcome face.
Lesnar could get away with this. Lesnar really could, dead ass. If somebody was going to be able to pull this off and not choose their opponent till the night of, that's Lesnar. But
what do you think the odds of Lesnar joining the Bloodline OGs for Survivor Series would be?
I mean, it's continued gentrification of the storyline, but you can make it make sense because of the wise man, and you
more so because of how dangerous you're trying to build up Jacob Fatu to be. But then you dwarf him by putting someone. Brock is 75 pounds heavier than Jacob Fatu is right now.
Yeah, let that.
Or at least the last Brock we saw was.
When he decides to dog walk somebody, I don't think that poundage comes into play. Let's just be real. Like, there are certain people where those particular statistics don't matter. So here's one that actually. What if Braun Breaker was the fifth guy? Because who was in NXT with him? Kind of air quotes coaching him up at one point.
Braun Breaker.
Don't overthink it.
Who was in it? Was it Roman briefly?
The wise
man. I'm sorry, Paul. Because of the relationship of the Steiners. Yes.
The wise man. So there is a connection for the wise man to have made a call. I got somebody for you. Now, then that adds a air, because all it is, you're adding this air of conflict. So if you add Seth Rollins has conflict with Roman. If you add Breaker has conflict with Jay, but also
listen, we will never mention the name of Seth Rollins ever again if he sides on either one of these teams.
You see what they're trying to do, and then there's like this ridiculous rumor that says they're going to put Seth on OG Bloodline team and then put Bronson Reed on Bloodline 2.0. I'm like, why
you now like you said last week, now you stepped on the pack.
Like, why are we doing this? We don't have to do this. They can have their own match, or they can have their own tag teams, whatever.
And that match needs to be a Falls Count Anywhere match. Like that does not need to be a traditional match between Seth and Bronson Reed.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
There, just
if you can't find two Samoans to put on these teams, just leave it.
Leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
Don't shoehorn somebody into this. Don't put Cody in here. Cody got stuff to do. Cody can see Kevin again. Cody can see Kevin and Randy. Don't put Cody in this match either. Stop giving this man crutches. He can walk on his own. You just won't let him.
And all you're gonna do is piss off the tribal chief unless this is your daily acknowledgement.
It makes Roman look ridiculous.
To say you're in my way in life at one show,
but let's team up again.
And the biggest blow off match known to man.
There are 42 different family members that could be called and added to this match at any particular second.
And three of them are women.
You want me to go reach out and grab one of these colonizers and put them on my team, and I already got one?
BFY.
PAFN.
WYBA.
Make me sick. Like, man, stop shoehorning these people into the storyline. The championship is already removed, so the litany of people who had all this complaining to do about Roman being champion and dominating the title, you don't even have that anymore. You have your champion, the one you asked for, the one you made all the noise for. Cool, go enjoy that. Let us enjoy our Bloodline story by ourselves.
That does not require a belt to be entertaining, which is why they stripped everybody from belts anyway, because having unnecessary storylines and something this serious is not the move.
For Ula Fala, that's all we rocking with out here.
That is the title. The Ula Fala is the title for SmackDown, and there's nothing else that even matters.
We rocking out nothing but prestige. That's it. I don't want stop shoehorning colonizers into the storyline. I don't want no more of them.
Real quick, before we get up out of here, Tegan Knox, Indy Hartwell, Baron Corbin, happy trails. And Nakamura still on the milk carton. Are we expecting any more releases, or is there anybody else that you can see that's just not making the cut right now that are not in NXT? Because obviously you don't care about NXT.
I don't. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, I've heard stories of Shin supposed to be coming back to SmackDown as a heel sometime soon. Kevin, his situation is in flux. You just gotta look at the roster, scan it, see who hasn't been making TV. Karrion Kross is still here, so that means anything.
Oh boy, and they brought him back for him to still be here for this. AOP is back. Like, I don't understand why AOP is brought back to not win. They're not losing; they're just not winning.
I don't see them wrestle.
That's what I'm talking about.
But it's the whole thing. Like, we used to think tag team wrestling was just a thing Vince hated. Apparently, Uncle Trips is on the same thing, because in NXT, tag teams were a stalwart. They were a main thing during Black and Gold NXT. Now, not so much. We're not filling any TV time with tag team matches where we absolutely could be doing that.
The most interesting thing about Karrion Kross is the stuff that he does on Instagram with his wife.
And that choice of t-shirts.
That stuff is gold. That stuff is gold, and it will not translate to WWE TV, unfortunately.
I just don't think his real life personality matches the character that they're trying to portray on television. I think he's actually probably way more entertaining in person than he is in the television character, and I think you're gonna have to fix that, because he's got way more 1997 Raven in his system than he does anything else.
I won't even say entertaining more, so I will say the same thing we said about Roman Reigns in 2015. Cool. He's cool. And there's a different level of...
You still got to shape that in a certain way, though, because...
No, sometimes it can shape itself. Well, we don't know that if we never see it. If the only avenue that we have where we can see it that doesn't matter to what we need to be, what we're watching on a weekly basis, how good is it going to be?
Trying to present him as the evil conscience of
anything
is just not gonna work.
Especially when you have an evil conscience who is the evil conscience of everything from 20, 30, 40 years ago with you. How do you have a manager who manages you and you're managing? Has that ever happened before? Have we ever had like and
none of you have managed to accomplish anything.
Yeah, like that would be like Gary Hart managing Colonel Robert Parker. Has that ever happened before or something like that?
Colonel Robert Parker. Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
I digress. I see here. Bully Ray says he'll whoop Max's ass and on the mic with with a promo with no script.
Who would watch?
Not me. I can barely listen to him on Busted Open when I do, and that's been a while since I've done that on purpose.
Okay. Put this in rap terms. This would be like pick a dope rapper from the 90s. Like they're dope.
Redman.
No, he's too good. Try another one.
From the 90s. Buckshot.
Sure.
Get well, Buckshot, by the way.
Indeed. So this would be like Buckshot saying, I can out rap. Who's who's half decent today?
Silk the Show. He said today. I almost went there.
You have what
glad
we call,
you stopped me.
You have what we call no chill or couth.
Corday.
Who?
Corday.
Perfect. That would be like Buckshot saying I can wrap circles around Corday. Are we actually going to tune in for that?
No.
Exactly. Let us just both enjoy both of you in your natural environments and elements.
Corday fans would tune in just to say, who is this guy?
Right. It would be a bit massive troll fest. Gen Z would tune in to troll everybody who knows who Buckshot is, and then make light of all the people who don't know who Buckshot is. Part of the millennials will side with Gen Z because they're still afraid to look uncool, and then the other half will be like, they're both dope. Why are we doing this?
J. Cole has entered the chat.
You see what I'm saying? So in your life, as you continue to matriculate and mature, be more like J. Cole.
And don't choose the violence of Kendrick unless absolutely necessary.
Yeah, if you gonna pop out and show,
then just pop out and show.
Maybe make sure to do it in 4K.
Wop wop. Finally, word on the screech, Burr, is that John Cena is retiring the last week or December 31st of 2025, which if we're taking things at face value, he says that this is going to be his last year of professional wrestling. He's done after 2025. So in theory, we can safely say December 31st, 2025 will be John Cena's last match, or his retirement date. Not necessarily his last match, but his retirement date. The ace and the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Hiroshi Tanahashi, has also announced that January the 4th, 2026 is his last day as a professional wrestler, as he tends to focus his sights on running the company. Wouldn't it be something if we're able to get John Cena versus Hiroshi Tanahashi in their very last match? Now, I'm going to say a couple of things here real quick before I get your feedback. Number one, if you're a casual fan of the Broken Pistol Booking Company, Pro Wrestling Podcast infused with hip hop, and I do mean casual fan, and you know nothing about New Japan, you're asking yourself, who the hell is Hiroshi Tanahashi, and why the hell is he so important? Why would you place him up against John Cena?
Why, oh why?
The answer to your question is the same reason why that match would never in a million years happen in the United States. Because you don't care.
They would never do that.
Yeah. United States, you can hang it up. That match will only happen in one place, and that's in the Egg Dome in Tokyo.
Okay.
Wrestle Kingdom happens that week. Like, the Tokyo Dome is going to get it. Like, that's where that match happens at, if it happens. I made mention this in passing to you because of the two people that are involved, and you understand it. But comparatively speaking, Hiroshi Tanahashi and John Cena have had parallel careers in two different worlds. Naturally, John Cena started off in OVW, was part of the greatest wrestling class to graduate from an independent to come through the majors. If we want to talk about the number of championships, the amount of revenue that has happened, we're talking, of course, Shelton Benjamin, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, John Cena, Dave Bautista, all came from the same class, 2002 from OVW. Hiroshi Tanahashi has been referred to as the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling, multi-time IWGP World Champion. He's also the director. He's also a podcaster, a sports executive, if you will, over there in Japan. And his pro wrestling debut was not long before John Cena's, 1999 to be exact. So, that said, what's the viability of this match in real terms a year away from it possibly coming to fruition?
Who gonna make the money off this?
Okay, can we talk sports terms?
Sure.
Okay. When your broken pencil contract expires tonight at midnight, Suave.
Okay.
And it's because you announced earlier in this show that you're retiring today. Mm-hmm. Your contract is free and clear, fulfilled in full. Come 11:59 and 59 seconds on the night of Thursday, November 14th, year of our Lord 2024.
Year of our Lord, fries in the bag.
What do you do tomorrow?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Check my account. I'm sure there has to be some sort of tension for me to walk away and just say I'm retired. There's got to be some sort of exit package.
Point taken. All right. So
and then if I'm John Cena level importance, there's a Legends deal that came exactly after I said I was retired. So whatever, like, yeah, you know, I'm way too analytical for this. I know how this stuff goes. John Cena say he's retiring on the 31st. I guarantee you, at 12:01, there was a fax that came through with his Legends deal.
Okay, perfect. That's a great call on the Legends deal. Will that Legends deal prevent him from competing in New Japan?
It depends on whether or not Stanford and Tokyo are in bed.
How could they possibly be in bed if all they have on him is a Legends deal?
Because John Cena's Legend deal will not be a regular Legends deal, because John Cena is not a regular legend. He is the equivalent of Babe Ruth to WWE at this point. He just is.
He got. I mean, that the merchandise the merchandise game changed in the 2000s because of him, and it's still the way it had changed for him then is totally reflective in the merch for the Bloodline now.
He is the cleanest. He is the cleanest piece of wrestling history that they have a claim to. Wow. Terry Bollea has gone completely outside of his mind. Richard Fleur he's a liability at every possible opportunity. The Ultimate Warrior has gone on to the great hereafter, didn't have a great track record before then either. Andre is gone. Austin is the only other one you have, and Cena ran laps around him as far as time served and
but Austin wasn't clean either, though. Austin's whole aura wasn't clean.
True, but when I say clean, I mean like getting in other trouble, not just like drinking beer and cussing.
Yeah, Austin wasn't clean.
This is true.
It's not as dirty as some of the others, but it's still not something
that's more so what I mean. Like Austin, when he got his hands dirty, he got out the way.
I'm gonna say the dirty bar is high. Austin's not even climbing it. He's on the field, but he can't climb the bar.
That's what I mean. Most of the things we would consider Austin have gotten dirty for are either forgivable or negotiable. Right.
We can get past it with a statement.
Right.
and a donation, maybe.
Yeah, Flair and Boleo, it's too many. It's multiple things you have to get over.
I don't understand why he hasn't been removed from 2K. Like, there's a lot of presence for him in there, and the longer the more he breathes, the more stuff comes out. Like, just get rid of him. Like, I understand his importance to the industry, but come on, man, there's a point to where we just got to say goodbye. I've been there. I digress.
You know why, so I won't even get into it. But yeah, like of the remaining pillars of WWE folklore and history, he is the best choice for everything.
Right now, so right now, if John Cena were backstage in a locker room, the people that they would go to first would be Randy Orton because he was active for longer. The second person they would go to in this 1A, 1B would be John Cena.
That who would go to for what?
I mean, as locker room leaders, as far as like the locker room themselves, as going to locker room leaders, going to the judge, juries, and executioners. I'm
still putting, if Cena's in the room, Cena's the guy.
You putting Cena above Orton and backstage?
Yes.
Okay. I respect it. I wouldn't, but I respect it.
I know why you wouldn't, but still, like, yeah. For me, it is Cena in that sort of environment. Roman has every bit of a claim to that situation, especially
which is crazy. There's. Do we want to table that because that's a whole nother conversation we could have for around Survivor Series with Roman's impact to the locker room.
I mean, we talk about it when we want to. You read my bottom third. Pause. If you didn't put us on, you can't turn us off, which means you can't tell us what to talk about.
Uncancelable. Bish.
Unblankwittable. Ron Simmons.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Roman might actually have a better claim to it than either one of those two. But yes, the reason why, that can be another conversation for later. Because Roman is giving back on both sides. He's put money in people's pockets and he's put time in with talent. You don't have any stories about Roman burying anyone.
Boy.
And then there's that.
He's burying his cousins on the microphone while they're in the ring with him that is hilariously nasty work, and it can fall under a rib because they're family.
But that was scripted, and you see how he sells super kicks for his family?
He sells everything for his family.
He sells moves for his family like he's selling death.
I'm sure when Jacob got that pinfall on him, he probably said, "Thank you, big cuz."
Fam. You see what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, there's no way Cena is getting into any sort of a match with Hiroshi Tanahashi unless there is some money for Stanford involved, and more than likely there is some sort of joint venture super show.
I'm gonna say that has to be a gate split. There's the only way that's going to happen. Where
it have to be.
You don't have to have WWE and New Japan coexist in the ring at every match. You could have WWE matches and New Japan matches and still do a super show. But with the relationship that IWGP and New Japan has with AEW, you're probably not getting anything remotely close to that.
If you could get Tanahashi, now I feel like the conversation, it works better if Tanahashi's out of his contract and is able to move around a little bit. That might be an easier thing to pull off. However, because he has other stuff going on.
Yeah.
if this is not a joint venture on some one-off, like AEW is what's the monkey wrench in this is like, are you willing to Are you willing to essentially piss on your relationship with AEW to make this one match happen? Is the gate big enough for that one thing?
Here's a great example of how to make this work. Not to say I want to see this, right?
Okay.
Deontay Wilder's popped off at the mouth saying he wants Brock Lesnar.
Please stop talking.
This would be the perfect money grab for both sides if it mattered, but it won't.
It should be on the undercard of Tyson Paul.
That part, if you're going to do it at all. However, TKO owns both UFC and WWE. This could literally happen on an episode of SmackDown, Raw, or UFC on ESPN.
Like Daniel Cormier and Lesnar.
This doesn't work any other way without, like, Rock never collected a bag outside of WWE. Undertaker tried it, and it got shot down in the middle of promotion.
Boy, they cut that quick. They cut the cord on that so quick. Now you ain't even finna sit down and talk to nobody.
That was a baby that was pushed out the womb. They got the scissors out on that one.
Yo, take it easy.
Oh no, full term. Yeah. Man, Florida, I'm in your area. Y'all come check for me. If you see the beard out, holler at me. I'm putting good smoke in the air. Show at brokenpistolbc.com, brokenpistolbc@gmail.com, at brokenpistolbc on all things social, at brokenpistolbc on what?
Everything.
Hey, don't be surprised if we have to do this. You know who ain't gonna win? I'm over here beachside.
I mean, do what you gotta do.
I just hope that the waves crash in the background won't be too much for the show. Take them to the house though.
We'll find a way to live. Pencil pushers, like, rate, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell that friend to tell a friend, and then tell that friend again. Heads up, pencils down.
Whole lot of fucking gang shit.
My